Stay tuned for Airgun Detectives.
Welcome to another episode of Airgun Detectives. Today we get to take the mystery out of the Walther lever action. This is a kind of a clone of the Winchester 3030. Before we get started here, the usual, could you please, if you haven't subscribed, hit the little subscribe button. I'm coming up with some different videos, and I try to have one every Friday, a review on an air gun, but occasionally I'm going to drop a different special edition in there. So if you want to be notified, hit that little bell. And other than that, we love your feedback, so please, thumbs up if you can. All right, back to the Walther. This is one beautiful gun. This is put out by Umarex, and it is actually German made. It's not cheap. This is an expensive gun. I paid, if I can remember correctly, I paid close to $300 mark. I got it really on sale, but this thing is going for now around $450, $460, although occasionally you can see it on sale. But I'm telling you, this has serious build quality. The bluing on it is incredible. The wood stock is extremely nice. It's got a 3-pound trigger pull. It's a pretty awesome gun. Anyway, the manufacturer claims this will get about 600 feet per second. We're going to test that out, and we'll see exactly what it gets in real life. Now, this gun, just so you know, this takes a rotary magazine, and where you would normally put the shells in here is a release button. See this? This pops out. Remember, that will just fly out. And then we pull your little magazine. What it takes is this 8-round steel magazine, and you'll get 2 of those with the gun. In addition to that, you get a wrench, this wrench to take your CO2 out, and I'll show you that in a minute. You also get a pellet seater. That's so you can seat the pellets into the magazine. It actually works pretty good. You just lay out your 8 pellets and then push them, seat them down with this little seater that it comes with. So you're going to get 2 of those. This takes a 88 gram or 90 gram CO2. And how you put that in, it comes with this little wrench right here. And you unscrew the back of this. This is threaded, just like a screw, any screwdriver or what have you. Okay, so we take this out, and there's your 88 gram CO2. And then what they do is they give you this little wrench so you can crank it in. It gives you that little grip on it so you can close it in. And then you simply, there's just line up the 2 pins, and then this just screws back in, just like that. All right. Yep, just snug that up just like that. So anyway, this is a terrific gun. As I said before, it is a bit on the expensive side, but this is something you could pass on for generations. I'm telling you, this is a really nice gun. It does not come with a scope or the scope mount. It comes with your standard little height adjustment open sight. It's actually a good looking setup. They used to make, and I don't know if they made a scope mount for it, extremely expensive, couldn't find it. So I ended up making my own. I had a little Picatinny rail, and I used the mounting holes for the open sights, and it worked out really good. This is a pistol scope that I put on here, so it has a really long eye relief, so it works actually really well by mounting it down here. And you know, when you get older, your eyes aren't quite as good, so the scope is quite handy. But anyway, let's take this out and test this thing, and then we'll come back and talk about it after we go through the our whole gamut. All right, stay tuned to the next segment. We got our Walther lever action .177. Let's see what type of velocity we get. I'm going to shoot 5 shots over the chrono. I'm going to give this thing the benefit of the doubt. I'm going to shoot some really light alloy pellets, some Winchester. They're a 4.32 grain. So let's just see what we get. We'll shoot 5 shots over the chrono. All right. Shot number 1. 706. Shot number 2. 694. Shot number 3. 694. Actually, that was an error. Do another shot here. 697. Do 2 more. Duplicate. 697. 1 more. and $6.94. So we gave that the benefit of the doubt. That's about as light a weight pellet as you're going to get. So we achieved a maximum velocity there right around 700 feet per second. Anyway, let's move on to the next segment. We're going to test out our Walther lever action at about 20 yards, our usual 20 yards. Take a look here. And let's see how well it'll group. I'm shooting a little different pellet. I'm shooting the Meisterkrugen, the 8.2 grain, so it's a little bit heavier pellet. But let's see how well it does. Let's just see how well we can do a group here. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Well, that's our Walther lever action in our accuracy test. Let's move on to the next segment. Let's test our trigger on our Walther lever action. See what we got as far as weight goes. Got our trusty Lyman trigger gauge, and let's see what we got here. 3 pounds, 14 ounces. Yeah, it's a pretty smooth trigger. All right, let's move on to the next segment. Let's see how well our Walther lever action does with a little plinking. We're about 20 yards out, put some small targets up there. We got a pretty good cross breeze though coming out from the, I'll call it the tunnel, which is the north side of the house here through there. It's a good cross breeze, so it really does affect the accuracy of the pellets. But let's see what we can do. No excuses. Let's start at the bottom and the right. Let's start with Little Pig. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. And one more. There you go. That's our Walther lever action. All right, let's move on to the next segment. The Walther performed quite well out there. In the Chrono, we got up to 700 feet per second with an alloy pellet. They're claiming this gets around 600 feet per second with a lead pellet, and it absolutely does. And you saw the grouping. We took it all the way out to 20 yards, which is probably the max you would do that. But we were getting half-inch groups at 20 yards with our 8.2 grain RWS Meisterkugelns. And a pretty tight little group. Smooth trigger. Those magazines that you see that comes in this gun, these are very universal. Helps if you pull this arm all the way out. This also has a little indicator. Forgot to tell you. There's a little red dot right here. That red dot will actually protrude right here when there is a magazine in it. So you can actually tell if there's a magazine in it. Then you push that in, and then this actually sticks out at that point. So anyway, terrific gun. I mean, the build quality on this thing is unbelievable. It is solid. It's heavy. I'd say the only downfall, I think, cosmetic-wise, is this big butt plate, but they needed it to cover the CO2. But other than that, it's a solid, heavy gun. I mean, it's quality. You put it in your hand, you're going to say, "Ooh, this is a high-end gun." Umarex does make a 12-gram CO2 adapter kit for it, so you don't have to use the 88-gram all the time. I do not know how much that is, but I know they're out there. But out of the big CO2, we're getting 300 to 350 shots, so you are getting a lot of shots out of this. So it's pretty impressive. I have to tell you, this is impressive. So overall, negatives, there really isn't any. Just maybe the price is the only negatives on this. But it's a super gun. I would highly recommend it if you feel like investing something. Like I said, this is something that you could pass down for generations. It's German made and it's German quality, you can tell. So with that, this is getting 4.5 stars. And I maybe would have gotten it a little bit higher if it wasn't so expensive, but this gun is really expensive. So with that, I appreciate you tuning in to Airgun Detectives. This is where we take the mystery out of the air gun. Until next time.